Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What if, well, I have a question for you guys. Is Atlantis, is it a warning, a remembrance? Is it just a fantasy? Kaila and I are here today to talk about our past life regression experience through hypnosis, accessing some memories, some insights, some higher guidance and wisdom from that time, the time of Atlantis. And we went on a hypnosis journey together to ask her higher self some questions about that time, about what it means for us here and now, and ultimately using that that journeying to bring information back for you guys, for the collective, for all of us as we navigate this current now moment, this current time. So today we are going to be discussing some of what came through in our full hypnosis session, specifically focusing on some of the collective messages that came through. So I do encourage you guys, go watch the full session. If you haven't, go listen to it. I have it linked below. You can also find it on the channel if you go to full hypnosis sessions, because obviously we aren't going to be able to cover everything that came through. And it's always best to hear it like as it came through, as it was channeled. So I definitely encourage you guys, go listen to it. So yeah, before we get into today's show, hello and welcome to you all. My name is Jake. I am a hypnotherapist, a intuitive quantum guide, helping you to navigate altered states, to tap into your higher self, to connect with past lives, future lives, all with the goal of helping you have the best now moment, make the best present lifetime that you possibly can. And I am, of course, joined by Kaila today. So Kaila, do you want to introduce yourself and share whatever you'd like? I have Kaila's links all down below, so you can definitely check out her channel, both her personal and the Three of Pentacles, which she's on. So yeah, Kaila, to you.
Hi, everyone. So thank you so much, Jake, for having me and for having that session with me. I feel so grateful to have had that with you. And, it's been a journey because this came up before and so much has happened since then. So hi, everyone. I'm Kaila. And yes, I am a pure energy healing practitioner, tarot card reader, intuitive life coach, spiritual life coach. I also do energy readings and so on. And I love connecting people back to their higher selves, their light. And so that's basically what I do in a nutshell. Over there at the Three of Pentacles, there's three of us. We do tarot card readings. Yes, a little bit on this and that. We tap into a lot of things, including a little bit of the news, because I think it's important for us to know what's going on around us and be aware of that as well. Although my specific love is that spiritual side, and been called more and more to connect back to the light for myself and share and help in any way that I can. So that's, in a nutshell, that's what I do. So yeah, back to you, Jake.
I love it. I love it. And hello to Soul Tribe in the chat. Everyone joining us, thank you so much. Hello, Corbin. Hello, Priscilla. Hello, of course, Lynn. Good to see you. Sending you guys all love. Hey, Ken. Good to see you as well. All right. So before we dive into today's briefing, I want to I would love to start with, both of us have felt this Atlantis connection, which is why we explored together. For me, Atlantis was sort of my into hypnosis, and some of you may have seen my recent shows. I am going to wrap up that series soon. Life's been a little chaotic, but covering the hypnotist journey to Atlantis, and that book by Sarah Bressman Cosme, and that book was my door into this world and doing these sessions, and was what sparked my interest in hypnosis and past life regression. And so I feel like it's woven into my spiritual journey, my journey of myself. And I've had a couple experiences personally as well with visions and meditation experiences with Atlantis. Kaila, what would you like to share as far as kind of your connection to Atlantis, how that tied into the session, whatever you'd like to share? about?
Well, it's interesting that I've always heard about Lemuria and Atlantis in the past, but I've never made a connection to it personally. I've not researched it. I've not really delved into it. Just last year, I think someone was talking about it, and the first thing that I went into was my cards. I just did a quick poll on, do I have a connection to Lemuria? Do I have a connection to Atlantis? And the Lemuria was more direct, like a more clear yes kind of thing. Atlantis went straight into some conflicting type of battling type of energy. And so I was like a little bit like, I just put it in the back of my head and I was like, okay, we'll see what comes. It wasn't something that really, really interested me at all until last December when I booked a session with Jake, and this was a personal session. And it came up all on its own. And then since then, it's been like spirit led. I say spirit, but I mean, higher self, source, all of those energies, those higher energies, just leading one message after the next, and it's been just an amazing journey. That something is there, and that's what led us to do this session to see what more would come up. So but it's interesting. You do have a book that kind of brought you into your work, and on the other hand, there was this book that I remember. It's called Life Before Life. I can't remember who wrote it, and it was by someone who did hypnotherapy as well. But that was like a really grounding book for me because it brought me to a lot of hypnotherapy sessions, but showing that there was something about reincarnation. There was something about our life experiences, and that has always been like a grounding aspect for me, going to that intuitive side of things, what comes up rather than just books or what people say. It's so much more grounding when it comes in that format.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I mean, that's why I do this work. I
So
mean,
I've been looking at your sessions in the Atlantis book, and yeah, I have to go back and finish. It was quite
oh yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, oh, no, it's very interesting. And it's interesting too that you had that sort of not an immediate connection or not an immediate like embracing of the Atlantis
Yeah.
energy. I mean, because I feel like I didn't necessarily feel immediately like, oh yeah, I was there. There was sort of like a resistance, I think, within me to a connection there. Some of that to do with just the way that the information around Atlantis is presented in that book specifically, where it really does focus more on the negative side of Atlantis and more of the corrupted or sort of the lower vibratory expressions of that time and those people. And so there was some of that, I think, where I was like hesitant to accept that connection. And since then, I've realized that there is, through my own knowings, through my own explorations, that there is more of a nuance to that time, and it wasn't just one culture, it wasn't just one, um, it wasn't good or bad. It was all of the above and everything in between, and that was some of what we picked up as well in the session of the variety of life, the variety of expressions of society, of culture, um, different people doing different beings, even doing different things. And so that was really interesting for sure. All right, I want to jump into our first point here. Choice point. Uh, so this, I wanted to start here because I feel like this is a really great foundation message to sort of anchor the conversation in. Um, and it's a message that certainly is not it's come through a lot in a lot of different people, a lot of different ways. This idea that we now here in this present moment, we're at a choice point. We're at this pivotal moment of change, this transformational moment, and the higher self during Kaila's session, the higher self came through and really like presented Atlantis as not just like the story, not just like a fantasy. This is a lesson to learn from. Um this is uh there's lots for us to understand, to process, to integrate, um to learn from that time, our experiences during that time. And this message keeps circling, it keeps coming up. And I'm not super familiar with Edgar Cayce's work, but he's one of the probably earliest voices bringing this Atlantis information into the present age. And from what I do understand, he also emphasized this necessity to learn from the past and to use our knowledge, our wisdom, our insight that we gain from this time to choose differently now. So, Kaila, I'd love to hear kind of what you feel about this choice point, this transformational moment, what you've experienced, messages that you've gotten, anything you want to share around that point.
Well, I feel like it's so important. It's been a message that's been coming slowly before all of these sessions that we've had, and I feel like it's like the main message right now that's coming for me. And there's so many things, like I did not know, I was not familiar with Edgar Cayce's work before these sessions or before Atlantis came into my awareness. And when it did, I was like led by spirit to like, it was so, inspirational how it happened, how the messages would come up. They love to play with electronics and send messages in my dreams and all of these things. And I was led to his work in one way or the next. And directly I felt that connection, like there's something there. And so, yeah, I have looked a little bit. I mean, I have joined his membership, so I have access to his files and so on. There's so many, but the few that I've read, I mean, they align so well to these messages, and a lot of them I read after these messages came. So it's just amazing how these synchronicities happen. So I think we are at this pivotal point and the choice point, as you said. And I love how I had to listen to the session over yesterday again, and there's so much, like everything, I can't remember everything, but I love the point where that came up. It says you must make that conscious choice now to play an active part. It's like, are you going to be an active participant? Because this not just decides like this lifetime, it decides your next lifetimes and where you're going to go. And I think that is so important because recently, they've asked me in messages, they've said, what if you the life that you're living right now, like this world doesn't change it. We're all waiting for some things to change, things to get better in a lot of ways, especially in 2020. Things just went crazy all over the world. And, a lot of people have been waiting for things to change. And it's been going a little bit slower than we expect in some ways. And it can be discouraging sometimes. And so they've asked me, if things were to remain as it is right now, like, would you be happy with the way you're living your life? Like, would you be happy with the choices that you've made spiritually and so on? And I have really, just like over the last, even maybe let's say 10 years or more, so many things have happened. Dark night of the soul moments, those times when you just feel like it's just too much. And then they have showed signs along the way, and your faith grows so much. And I've been led on a certain spiritual path. And this choice point is so important because yeah, like, so if it doesn't change in this lifetime, it's like the messages, it will change. It is, they're like assuring us it's going to change. And even if it doesn't change, like, live your life in such a way that you make a better lifetime after this one. Are you ascending? Like, would you do anything different? Like, continue to live from the heart, continue with that pure intention. And there's always benefit from it, because when you live in line with that, in integrity, and then live from the heart in line with source energy, then they give to you as well. The healing is easier to reach. The messages, what you need is provided to you. Whatever you're trying to manifest comes easier. So we can see the proof of that now, but it also comes in the future. So yeah, that's my take on that. Yeah.
I love that you brought that, like, that yearning for the change, but also this, because I feel like many of us have had moments recently, maybe over the past couple of years, where you've been like, okay, but when is it going to change? Is it like, can I hold on to that hope? And, one of the things that I've really been shown by my higher self, and the message that just keeps coming through, is this idea of now, the now moment, the present moment. And for me, I've really been getting this idea of new earth versus now earth. And I'm at a point where I'm ready to reject new earth, in the sense that, not that I don't believe in a new possibility or a new era, but it's like, it feels like we're putting it out in the future. We're putting it out ahead of us, like, well, it's new, it's coming in, it's not here yet. And while that might be true on some level, we also, we are the ones that we're waiting for, right? And that message comes through many people often, and it's one that I've really been reminded of lately. And it feeds into this idea of now earth, because what are we doing now, every day, every moment, every time that we're making a choice, or interacting with someone, or like, how are we showing up? What are we doing to build that new creation, that new energy, that new paradigm, that new reality that we want? And I feel like there's been such an emphasis on, no, you guys need to take your power back, and you need to step into that power, and you need to start creating that change now. And I say that, not that I think that people aren't, but I think we could, take it to a new level. I think we could take it further than we are, and understanding that it's not about, you know, at least this is my understanding, it's not about waiting for the government to suddenly decide that they're going to be, wonderful to us, and they're going to fix everything for us, and, or, waiting for the ETs to come down and save us, or waiting for, maybe you're waiting for someone to come into your life and to save you, and forgetting that you have that power within you. And it might not look the way that you thought it would, but I think it's so important. So this new earth, now earth is I don't know if I've heard anyone else talk about it in that particular way, but that's like how my brain is kind of processing it. What do you think about that concept, Kaila? I mean, I feel like we've talked a little bit about the presence, and taking our power back. But yeah, what do you want to share about
I
that?
love that. I love that concept because it's really like using that visualization power to really bring that in now. And I think that's so important. Sometimes we don't realize how important that is, you know? It literally can mean changing your own world right now, although like you're living in this world, but you don't have to like be an active participant with what's happening out there. You can literally create that parallel reality right now, you know? And you
Mhm.
have the power to do that. So yeah, I love
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, and that's the less energy, the less focus that we can give to, um, as I saw someone put it recently, they said, the less energy you can give to the dying matrix, the better. It's like,
Yeah,
the less focus, the less energy you can put into
exactly.
that, you're taking it back, and
Mm-hmm.
you're building the new.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So this idea of creating a different now, creating a different then as well. I mean, because, right, we're building the foundation for that future. And especially with the future visioning work that I do, this concept of like, how do we reach that ideal future? How do we reach that dream? How do we reach that vision that we might have for how things could play out? And how do we do it in a way that honors the flow of the divine, the flow of our higher selves? And um, it's not always the easiest thing to do, um, but I think part of what can help us is learning from the past, and understanding those mistakes that were made, and choosing a different path now. And so I'd love to hear from you, Kaila. What stands out to you, whether it be from the session or from your own intuitive knowings about like Atlantis? What stands out to you as kind of like some of those bigger mistakes or missteps or ways that energy, power, whatever it might be, was misused or mishandled at that point, that we're being called to change now? Do you have what's your take on that?
I feel like those sessions, like, totally showed us what happened. It's like that connection to something bigger than us. It's like when we come into this ego self, and it's all about us and the now, and the selfishness, and the overpowering of others and so on, that came in. What we saw in Atlantis, that would have caused the destruction, the misuse of the technology and all of that. And we can see that now. It's mirrored now, and in many ways. And so I feel like it starts with us. If we can just change ourselves and work on ourselves, it, like the message said, it adds up. And literally that's all we can do, because, yes, besides going out there and doing our best, and helping each other and all of that, I feel like the bigger message is going within, working on yourself, and making sure you're operating from that pure heart space, kind of thing. Going back to source, connecting to those higher frequencies, and becoming one with the light again, with whatever that means for you. And as they said, it's like, it's so much easier than a lot of people think. It seems like this hard, big road, but if you just start like one step at a time, and you ask for that help, it becomes so much easier, one step at a time. And they really show you that they're there working with you. And I did pull some cards that whenever you're ready we can talk about, like, just a quick message for this collective listening. And oh my gosh, they're just showing us how much they're there for us. And so I think it just really starts with each one of us, because we can't control anyone else out there. This world has literally gone crazy in my mind. Everyone is so focused on themselves. And yeah, we need to change that in the small ways, and it will all add up.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I feel like that like self-centeredness, that selfishness has sort of been co-opted as well by like the more like capitalist or the more like self-serving spiritual side of things too, where it's like you have these people who are protecting their energy, but they're just like, cutting people off or being like horribly rude to people, or like there's not a heart-centeredness to it. It's
Yeah.
all ego, and it's all this like sort of performative performative self-care rather than a genuine self-care,
Yeah.
because there does need to be a balance, and we're not here to burn all the bridges with the people around us. Like, we're here to, because we're never gonna find our way back to community if we're like destroying the community around us, right?
Exactly. And Edgar Cayce even spoke about a little bit of even spirituality. I'm going the way of, it's going off track in terms of it's more for self. You see the commercialization of spirituality now as well. So,
Mhm.
you know, it's all calling for us to go within yourself. What is your intuition telling you? And then and the teachers that you need will come to you. Like, it's happened so many times for me in the past, and even people that I learned healing from, who I did the tarot cards with, and they were all signs that came from higher energies. Okay, you're going to learn something from this one, and it's not that you're going to take them as a guru, or like, not going to copy everything. You have that power within you, and each one has that unique path. And as you work with yourself and healing and all of that, your blockages clearing, and it just like opens up, so it's just one step at a time.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And that going within, reconnecting with yourself, I feel like there's two things that I want to say on that. One, the technology piece, I think that really stood out to me in just like such an obvious way. You don't even need to try to see the parallels between Atlantis and now with
Yeah.
the abuse of technology, the technology being valued above anything else. I mean, I really like all of the news about data centers and AI. Like I think there's so much more going on underneath the
Mm-hmm.
surface
Mm-hmm.
than they're telling us. But the valuing of all of that above, I mean, above people, above the cleanliness of our waters. I mean, even if it's not to the scale that they are trying to like catastrophize it to be, there's some truth to that, because they always weave the truth in
Mm-hmm.
the with the lies. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I think there's so many parallels with the technology, and even like the isolating like energy of tech now, and social media and our phones. I mean,
Oh yes.
I'm sure you've seen this, Kyla. You know, you go out in public and there's no one who's looking up. No
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Everyone's in their phones. Everyone's walking down the street in their phones. They're on the bus on their phones. They're sitting at a table on their phones. And it's just
Yes.
like, just down, down, down. And how like demoralizing too, to have all of your energy like sucked into this device, and all of your time sucked into this device, and so much of it under the guise of connection, of socializing, of, you know, fun and games. And and yet I think Atlantis really shows us the ways that when we fall into the technology trap, we lose touch with our hearts, we lose touch with our humanity, with our compassion. I mean, that's at least one facet of how they fell, and how that society went off the rails. And so I really think that there's so much to reflect on, and it's not to judge yourself if you're falling into that trap, because it is a trap and it is hard to pull yourself out sometimes. But the awareness is that first piece, and doing the best that you can to reorient your energy, and find more time to be in nature. I mean, there's some of this that we'll get into more as we go along, but I wanted to touch on the technology piece. The other thing that I wanted to touch on that you said that I just loved is the next message, because it just flows so beautifully, is that idea of connecting into our own intuition, connecting in with our higher selves. And there was, for those of you who didn't see the session, there was a few different beings, energies, scenes that Kyla and I explored as we were exploring this time in Atlantis. And there were these sort of energy beings, light beings that Kyla was shown. And the thing that really stuck out to me was that the higher self said that they were very much still connected to source. They were still connected to their larger soul essence, and that connection through to the source, to the all, to the I am. And that it was through that relationship, that connection, that they were able to do a lot of the things that they were doing. And it was really wonderful, because the higher self really made it very clear that we have that connection as well. We are not different than those beings in the ways that we can connect with our oversoul, with our higher self, with that source aspect of us that exists beyond this space time, and is that direct channel and conduit to the wisdom of the universe, to the wisdom of our higher self. So this idea is like, I mean, it's such a core to what I do. I mean, I'm a hypnotherapist who helps people connect with their higher selves, and this concept just like resonates so much with me, and is why I do this work, is I think such an important way forward. So Kyla, how I mean, it'll give you the floor. What do you think about this
I
idea?
don't know if I can put it into words as my higher self did. I feel like it was said so well, but literally it resonates so much. That message that it's all inside of you. The key is inside of you. The light is inside of you because like I've been doing meditation since I was a child, and it's changed in various ways. Growing up, my parents, my dad, and specifically, like taught us his way of doing meditation, and that has changed and transformed into my own way as I grew. And when you, even just in meditation, when you just connect to that higher source, that light energy, it is so empowering. And when I do these sessions with you, Jake, and I tap into that higher energy, it is so loving. Like it's a place where I feel like I can stay. I don't even feel like coming out of it. It's so beautiful, and just to know that it's right there inside of you and you can connect at any time. This is who you are. It is so empowering. And as you work on the blockages, you just start asking questions. Like I tell people, like just test your guides. Play with them, have fun with them, ask them questions, and be open to hear the answers. And it just comes slowly but surely. You make that connection more and more, and you realize that the answers are all inside of you. Ask the questions, and it comes in different ways.
Yeah.
So a very, very important message. I think that's the key to it all. And that's the work that we have to do right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is one of the things that I am so passionate about people understanding, because what I hate is like gatekeeping in the spiritual community and the ways that practitioners, you know, leaders, like there can be, because of the systems that we live in and this desire for stability, this desire for and it oftentimes comes from a good place where it's like, oh well, I need to make money, I need to have consistent clients, I need to, but it can be this trap where you end up having your clients dependent on you. And I am so passionate about people understanding that they do not need me to connect with their higher self. They don't. No one
Yeah.
needs that, because I'm not, you know, I'm not helping you to connect to some entity being like out there in the ether somewhere. No, I'm guiding you into a quiet, calm, relaxed state where you can access that part of you inside of you. It's not outside, it's inside. And that part of you, I mean, one of my favorite moments, which happens often in sessions, is when clients go, oh, that's who I'm talking to. Oh, it's my higher self. Oh, I talk to them all the time, or I get messages from them all the time. Or you know I love too the people who aren't as familiar with connecting with that channel, and after the session they end up having a much easier time. They recognize that part of themselves, they recognize how it feels. And you talked about that too, right? The feeling that comes along with that part of you when you connect. And I think it, just like you said, it's almost the only mission right now. It's almost the only priority. And it's really interesting because I feel like a lot of people who do, I mean, we talked about kind of the frustration with the pace of things, and well, why isn't the world different? Why hasn't things changed faster in the way that I want them to? I think some of where we're at is redirecting us, pointing us back to ourselves of, okay, well, like for me, I'm at a point where I would love to have more clients. I would love to have more clients coming in. And yet, is there a reason for slower client flow, or is there a reason that I'm being called to spend more time in connecting with my own higher self, in healing my own baggage, trauma, past lives, current lifetime, right? And so I think there's such an important, there's so many layers to this important task. And uh, I think the most basic is like remembering that you do have access to this part of you, that um, you're not separate from your higher self. You are your higher self. You are the light. And that is a paradox that's hard to understand completely when you are feeling that separation, when you feel that individuation, but remembering that, holding on to that, that helps to unlock the door and allow them to come in and to connect with you.
Totally. Yes.
Mm-hmm. 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 All right. Let's see.
And talking about opening the door, that came in the card that I pulled. There's the door
Okay,
that's
yeah.
open.
Is it a good time to do the
I mean,
cards?
it's up to you.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, so I just pulled a quick, set of cards to say, okay, what's the message for this collective that's listening? That what do they need to know right now? And again, you said some of these things. You said, those structures and systems that control spirituality and those go-betweens that are really not needed. Yes, that can be helpful, and you will be guided as you go. And sometimes you do need it. You need some clearing. You need some help to just as you go. But it's really just inside of you, because I have the Hierophant in the past, and those are like the more typical structures and systems of spirituality and those go betweens kind of thing. And so it's really telling us, these cards, that it's encouraging you to use a strategy, be strategic about your soul mission right now. Your thoughts, your words are very, very important. Be strategic in balancing your energy and operating from that heart space, because I have the cups, the energy of the Knight of Cups here. And it's really saying that you have everything at your fingertips. You have the Nine of Cups in the environment. You can manifest anything that you want to. And it is warning us that there will be some temporary setbacks, but they are temporary, and it's asking us to have courage moving forward. And in the outcome, I have the Four of Cups is showing. So we will always have help. So while things are happening, there's this hand extending help and love to us always, and it's reminding us to connect to that, set our boundaries, and lots of messages going to be coming through. And again, I pulled some oracle cards, and this is from my Carl Rurik deck. I love this deck. And here we see there's lots of, this is spiritual energy that's helping us, and it's like this fire here. They're saying that throughout this lifetime and even beyond, they are going to be there for you. They're always there with you. And it's cautioning you to take the right steps, do things one step at a time, but you always have help with you. And it's going to be present with people coming into your life that will show you, help you, give you the signs. If you ask for it, help is always there. And this Beyond Boundaries card that came up, I love this message. It says, break free from the limitations and embrace the limitless potential of your soul. Expand beyond boundaries and step into your true power, which is along the same lines of the messages that have been coming. It's saying there's limitless potential. Expansion is at hand, and spiritual liberation is what is being encouraged. So there's a door. The door is being opened. And just a few more. I have the Seer. So it's really, really telling you to go inside and use your intuition, that you have everything at hand. The gatherer is here. You have all accumulated everything that you need throughout lifetimes, and there's the wisdom showing up here. And then we have the spiral staircase. And so even if it is not seen directly, just know that you are ascending. The ascended masters are showing up, and that ascension is at hand. So your efforts are never in vain. So I thought that was really lovely. It just went in line with everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. I really really love that. Corbin says great cards. Yeah, yeah. I had put that on our list as well. That support and encouragement, because that was such a loud message as well from the higher self. And they had said, make sure to call on your guides, make sure to call on that higher frequency support, call on that support that loves you unconditionally, that has your best and highest good at the core of what they're doing, at their motivation. And like came through the cards too, that message of like not giving up. they said, I think they said something like, you're closer than you think. And that perception piece, I think is really interesting, because I feel like many of us experience that in our daily life, where it's like you're yearning for change, you're yearning for something to be different. Maybe it's an emotional thing that you're going through, maybe it's a situation. And what I was reminded of with this concept was like the ways that your perception can change something in an instant. Like it's just an instantaneous change in your reality because you changed something inside. And that concept is really like central to the work that I do with hypnosis, because there's no necessarily scientific reason for changing your thoughts to change your reality around you. And yet it works. And yet there are people who quit smoking, who lose weight. There are people who experience deep, profound healing and release, who are able to step into new identity through the power of their mind, through the power of memory, and of shifting and changing beliefs at that subconscious level, at that deep level. And so your higher self can help you to make those changes and make those shifts without a hypnosis session. You can certainly do all of that work on your own. If you would like support in that, I'm happy to guide you through a session of your own. Links down below for that. And I know Kaila would love to do either energy healing or cards as well, to help you navigate your journey as well. Because we have so much support on the other side, but there also is support here in the physical as well. And I think you mentioned that at one point when you were talking about there are moments where it's good to take that help, to ask for that help, to receive support in a physical sense from a healer, from a guide, from someone that you trust, someone that you resonate with, because we weren't meant to do this journey alone, at least not most of us. I'm sure there's someone out there with that sole purpose, but for most of us, we're here to lean on our community, to grow together and help each other to level up. I mean, I'm sure, Kaila, you've had these experiences. Like, some of the most profound shifts and changes in my life have happened alongside someone else, like with that partnership or with that support, whether that be from family, friends, loved ones, a healer, or a guide.
Oh yes, and I just have to say, if you have not had a session with Jake, I highly recommend it. Jake is so good at what he does, and I always say it is because of who he is. Because when he guides you through that session, he really, really just goes deep into it and gives everything. And I remember my first session with you was like, I went in with like personal questions, and he has a way of, sometimes your higher self says, okay, it's kind of like your journey, you need to figure this one out for yourself, that specific question. He has this way of kind of coaxing the higher self to give a little more, and he is very successful at that, and I just love it. And so yeah, even the group session we had recently was so powerful, and I highly recommend Jake, for his sessions and his work as well. So
Thank you, Kaila. I appreciate those kind words. Yeah, it's sometimes like the most frustrating things that the higher self says is like, oh, well, they know. Okay, I know that on some level they know, but they're asking this question because they want some confirmation. Can you just give them a little bit, just a little bit? And I mean, that's my job as the guide, as I call myself sort of an advocate with your higher self. Sometimes I'm there advocating for you, of like, okay, they might know, but just say it again, just
yeah.
cause, I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Ken. Oh, and Lynn, you too. You guys are so nice.
It sure does. Yeah.
I love y'all. I love y'all. Which, speaking of laughter and joy, I I wanted to touch on this message that came through the higher self as well, because this has been such a personal project of mine, a personal journey or like goal of mine of uh, tapping into the joy, the laughter, using that to stay in the place that I want, in the frequency that I want. Kaila, have you had similar experiences recently with life where laughing
Oh
or
my God, like where do I start? You know, it's been like the biggest life lesson I think that I have learned in the last few years. I think it was around 2018 when something kind of unexpected happened and sort of pushed me down that dark night of the soul, path again. And we do have several throughout our lifetimes, and they serve a huge purpose. So it don't get discouraged. And literally they told me, you must, what if all they want us to do is to be happy, and that creates everything else that you want, and it's such a small message, but it literally changed my life. And so I started working at the level of the mind, body, soul, but also environment. So I do feng shui and energy clearing as well, of spaces and all of that too. And that's when, during that period of time, sometimes you're going through something, and you do need to go through the emotions. You can't just let it, sometimes you have to let it flow, because then it's going to cause other problems. It's going to cause more blockages. Of course, do not let it sit within you too long. Get out of it as soon as you can, but just finding something that makes you happy. Like, I tell people, if you're going through something hard, don't look at sad movies and cry. Look at comedies. Just find something that makes you happy. So my first choice is always comedies, like something that makes me laugh. Get yourself laughing. Try to raise that frequency in any way that you can, whether it be just being around children or something that's art, or something that lifts that frequency. And laughter is really the best medicine. Like, I would find myself sometimes, in the past, going through what I was at that time. I would just sit and watch comedies and laugh and just be in that moment. And slowly you would find yourself shifting, and it just changes everything. And then I'm always in my house. They would tell you I'm like this, happiness police kind of thing, because I'm like, no, stop this. You can't stay in that low frequency. You must make it higher. So whether it be playing high frequency music in the house, or just doing things that make you happy. I remember growing up when, I'm sure a lot of people would remember, being around your parents, and maybe they're going through something. And as a child, you may not understand everything, but you feel the lower stressful frequencies, and it really, really does have an effect on you. It, and that just creates more of the same thing. So get out of it, whatever way you can. And laughing is one of the easiest ways to shift the energy. So it's very important.
Yeah, and it really is like such a important piece to honor the emotion, the lower
It
frequency
is,
emotion that
yes.
you're feeling. Like, don't think that we're saying, oh, shove
No,
that anger down or shove
no,
that
no.
sadness down. No, like, feel it, acknowledge it.
But there's a difference with feeling it and letting it sit in your body, because when it stays in your body and doing energy healing, it really creates that blockage that then can go on and cause a lot of problems. So feeling it, let the emotions flow through you. And something I love to do is ask for help. Say, tell your guys, help me. Just literally say, help me, show me what do I need to know, how do I get out of this, what. And they do, the help does come. So and as it comes, slowly your faith grows, and then it just gets easier.
Yeah, I love Lynn and Corbin are talking about the power of pets
Oh
and
yes,
how your dog, your
for
cat,
sure,
your
yes.
rabbit,
Hmm.
yeah, definitely. You know, it's interesting because I've had these moments with my pets, and this is since I was young, where I would be in my head, I'd be in like an emotional state, and the animal demanding
Oh
whatever they were
yes.
demanding, like, would just make me angrier, and it
Mhm.
would just like irritate me, and I'd be like, oh, I'm trying to, I'm trying to sulk, come on. And as an adult now, I've been able to observe that a little bit more and see, like, oh, it's interesting because, Zulu, my kitty, will show up and yell at me when I'm in a bad mood, and it's like, is she yelling at me to make me feel worse, or does she maybe sense that I'm in a bad mood and she's like, no, come with me,
Mhm.
I'll help you shift
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
And even the ways that our animals can like force us to change, like, where we are spatially, I'll go and I'll like sit down on the ground with her and be in a different place, like switch my perspective. So even the ways that they can like physically bring us outside, your dog makes you
Yeah.
go take them for a walk.
Mhm.
You're getting outside, you're changing your location. That's going to help you too. So
Yes.
our animals, our pets um, they're smarter than we
Oh, totally.
we
Yeah.
sometimes give them credit for.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and dancing too, Lynn. Yeah,
Oh
you
yes.
you know.
Music, so so important. And yeah.
Corbin saying Zulu is the happiness priest in our home. This is true.
Oh,
This is true.
we need one of that in every home. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, I did you have any more cards to share, Kyla?
No, that was the
Okay.
only pull I did for today
Okay.
so far.
Um, I want to briefly, just the last message that came through that I wanted to mention. And this is a message that Corbin and I have just been on, and I feel like we talk about it almost every show. But the power of nature as well, right? We're talking about
Oh
joy
yeah.
and the ways that can help us.
Yeah.
Another tool that the higher self gave and
Hmm.
really like honed in on was nature, and the ways that nature can support us, can help us to heal, process, release. And one of the cards that you showed, Kyla, it looked like I saw like a tree trunk with like a lotus in the top. It was that purple one.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
I saw a tree. Yeah. I saw like
Mm-hmm.
a tree trunk in there.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the trees were sort of like reminding me that they're here to
Yeah.
support. And
Mm-hmm.
it was really interesting today. I had a coworker who we were talking about. Corbin and I moved to a new house. We were talking about the new house and stuff that's been going on, and um, realized that we both lived not close to each other, but in similar area. So this coworker was talking about how much they hate the oak trees that are on their property because all of the acorns that fall and the tree branches, and oh, it's just such a pain. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I love the oak trees that are on our property. They're
Yeah.
my favorite part of our property. They're so old and they're so
Yeah.
majestic, and it's just interesting the different perspectives that people can have. And I'm sure, Kyla, you have a million stories that you
Oh
can
my
share
God. Yeah.
about nature
Mm-hmm.
and the powers that it has. But yeah, I wanted to at least bring that message in because it
Mm-hmm.
was such a key piece. And furthermore, if you look at the Atlantis, and uh, one of the things that you observed, Kyla, in the session was sort of the concentration that they had in cities. And with cities, I mean, you have this disconnect from nature. You have this just more densely populated, oftentimes more technologically, uh, manipulated, and I really get the sense that Atlantis could have benefited from a little bit more time in nature. At least those facets and parts that were more uh, leading to the fall. But Kyla, any thoughts on that you wanted to share?
Oh well. I mean, there's so much. It is definitely
Beautiful show
something
on
I've been
it.
feeling, especially this summer, and just wanting to be outside, and just how
Hmm.
much it does just to touch a tree, or just to sit on the grass, and or just tend to your plants, and so on. And something, this might be going a little bit off topic, but just with nature generally. Something I loved, Jake, was when you shared about you and Corbin. I think we had similar experiences with the fires and the smoke
Mm-hmm.
that came in. And when you shared about doing some rituals and energy healing, and there was like a clearing, and I had a similar experience. And nature, I feel, has been calling on us a lot recently. I have, like, just a few days before that fire started, I don't know. I was outside with the plants, and I'm just feeling emotional. I'm feeling something. Something is there. Something is calling. They're telling us something. And just a few days after we had woke up that morning, and it didn't get bright. It was just orange, dark looking, and we had so much smoke outside. And I read on it, and it was not natural. It's something nefarious happening. And yeah, and so nature is really speaking to us. And so I love that little clearing y'all did, and you could actually see how nature was working with you. And so, and I did the same thing. I started calling in the rain, and it came slowly, and then it came with a vengeance, and I could tell Mother Nature was angry. And we had tornadoes, storms going through areas, and just connecting to nature, and just like closing your eyes, going into that higher frequency, and with love, asking it to calm down a little bit, just for safety. And I saw several times we had like notices come up and warnings on our phones and so on, and it would be just at the border of where we were, and we were in the clear. And up to this weekend, and I really feel that is an important message that's been coming, that things are changing, things are evolving, and things are going to be happening that we need to be aware of. And so staying connected is so important right now, to receive the messages, to that we have the power to connect, and to know what's happening, to be guided as well. So nature is definitely healing, yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So many, in so many ways. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and that's the multiple facets of that phrase. Nature is healing. Nature is healing. Nature is healing. Yeah, it's they. I feel like I love that you brought that situation up, because not that I had forgotten about it, but it wasn't the first thing I thought of. But yeah, Corbin and I and another friend of ours in the area, we all set our intentions. Corbin and I went out to the river, and we brought a wand that we had made, and we both stood in the river, and we asked Mother Nature to help us clear the smoke, because like it was bad. And we said, not only for us, but also for the animals. I mean, because the birds were silent. They were hiding, they
Same
were
here.
hanging
Same
low.
here.
And it was beautiful, because we did that, and we said, okay, now we'll have faith and trust that something will happen. And I feel like it was an hour and a half after that, the squirrels started to show up.
Oh,
Like, okay,
yeah.
is it clearing up? When we look outside, we're like, I think it's a little clearer. I think it's a little clearer. And then, slowly over the next couple of hours, it dissipated, and we checked the like smoke radar thing that they have. And it was so funny, because I
There
shared
was a
this on
little
social media, but
circle,
just like
yeah.
a circle, just like a dot right over our area. And it was just
So
like, you can't
beautiful.
make it up. It was
Yeah.
so cool. So cool. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Yeah, the lightning storms.
Yes.
I love a good storm. I love a good storm.
We've had so many that just come out of nowhere recently, and yeah, lots of tornadoes as well. So yeah, we do have to connect and know what's happening.
Indeed. All right, I'm keep getting nudged to pull some cards. So I'm gonna pull a few cards here to see if there's any other messages or anything else that we didn't touch on that the higher self wants us to touch on. Interesting. All right. No, I mean, we're closer than we think. They just want us to reiterate that. We have that Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Cups.
Mm-hmm.
And then Six of Swords. And this Six of Swords is ascendancy.
Right.
So it's, I mean, very straightforward, simple message of remember, you guys have done a lot of work, and it's not just in this lifetime. There might be a sense with that turtle energy that it is moving a little slower than a lot of us would like. We're not necessarily, and it feels almost like we're, we're stuck in bed, or we're like, uh, you know, at least for me, I've been feeling just such fatigue. I've just been feeling just worn out and tired. Um, and I think that many of us are feeling that on some level, in some way, whether it be um, physically, energetically, spiritually. Um, I've heard from quite a few people like having these sort of like dark night of the soul reckoning moments of sort of deciding, am I going to just like throw it all away, or am I going to, keep going, or am I going to pivot? Like we're we're all feeling these energies on a collective level as well as an individual level, but we are moving in that ascension direction. We are moving towards the light, and even this figure is golden and shining, right? It's that light energy coming in. And I've gotten this message over and over again, that many of us are here in this lifetime to regather, to reclaim, to remember a lot of our soul memories, our soul experiences, our soul's energy, and to bring that into this physical incarnation, this physical body. It's not about escaping. It's about bringing it in. It's about embodying it. And so, yeah, that's the message that the cards wanted to
Very
end
nice. Yeah. A
on. Mhm,
simple but deep message that they keep repeating, you know?
mhm.
So,
Yeah,
really,
and
really
that's
nice.
and that's the thing, is like I was just talking with Corbin about this. We can from our human perspective really overcomplicate
Yeah.
things, whether that be spiritual healing, um, or understanding our purpose, or you know any number of things we can complicate. I mean, we're in such a mental place right now with our society. I feel like it's sort of programmed in, and it takes a lot to deprogram that
Mm-hmm.
and return to more of that peace and that balance within. um, but we're all going through these experiences for a reason, and I have such hope that that reason is bringing us towards a brighter future. I've seen that future multiple times. Like I that's one of the things I love about future visioning, is it allows you to tap into that future, those timelines, possibilities, and I know we're moving towards it. I know it on so many levels,
Yeah.
and so don't lose hope, guys. Don't lose hope.
Yes.
Kaila, what last words or last messages do you have for those watching about the session or the messages we've shared today?
It's just to don't lose faith, and it's all inside of you. And something that came to me was there's no more powerful confirmation than that which comes through your intuition and that which is confirmed by spirit. So start with small steps, and you will receive guidance as you go. So just continue moving one step at a time.
Hmm. Yeah, I love that. I love that. And you will get those signs. You will get those messages, and sometimes they're more subtle than you expect them to be. Other times they're not, and other times
Oh
they're
yeah.
really, really obvious. And
Hmm.
I think the key is just being open and asking,
Yeah.
because if you're not asking, if you're not open, then
Hmm.
you're gonna miss it.
Yeah, and in the meantime, don't underestimate, working on yourself. Like, looking where does healing need to take place? Where may you have some blockages? Working on keeping that higher frequency on any level that you can, in small ways, big ways, and it all literally adds up, and it changes your whole life.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah. I love it. I love it. And thank you to our soul fam in the chat for joining us for this conversation. It has definitely been a wonderful conversation. And Kaila and I are planning on journeying again. And I don't think this will be the last time that y'all will see Kaila here on our channel. Thank you all. I love you all. Okay. And yes, thank you, Lynn, for the reminder. Corbin and I will be on tomorrow. It's been a busy week. We are getting to our lunar reflection show for the eclipse and this Leo new moon experience that we're all in right now. And so join us tomorrow as we talk about some of what has been coming up with the moon. Make sure as well that you go and watch and listen to the full session that Kaila and I did, because there's definitely so much more than we got into here. And it's really fun to be able to go on the journey with us, to experience the journey with us. So I encourage you to do that. All right, Kaila, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Jake. And thanks to everyone listening and watching. We love you all. Beautiful souls, thanks for being here.
We do. Sending you all love and see you soon. Bye, y'all.
Bye.